Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's Ask Schellie Show. My name is Schellie Fanfan. I am your emotional intelligence expert, and you are tuning into another hot Ask Schellie Show. Make sure you let me know who you are and where you are tuning in from. Go into the comment section. Again, let me know who you are, where you are tuning in from. You are tuning into the Ask Schellie Show, and here every opportunity that we have, once a week we go live. Now, every opportunity that I have, I am always responding to messages and feedback from our listeners, from people who write in, people who seek counseling, people who just seek some psychoeducation to help them to add tools to their wellness toolbox. I take the opportunity once a week to go live before you all, sharing a question. Today, they will be plural questions that are asked by those who are really facing challenges in their lives, and they want some feedback. They want perspective. This is no way, shape, or form an attempt to replace the therapeutic process. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It gives you an opportunity to take this feedback and make it work for you or not. And if it doesn't work for you, guess what? You can click share and be sure that it will work for somebody else. Here on the Ask Schellie Show, our attempt is to add wellness tools to your wellness toolbox. To be emotionally intelligent is to have a wellness toolbox that is overflowing. We should all have the capacity to take our anger from a 10 to a 4. We should all have the capacity to take our fear from a 7 to a 1. We should all have the capacity to take our anxiety and make sure that it reduces to a point where we are able to thrive, be functional, and do all that we were created to do. And it's all about emotional intelligence. And so on the Ask Schellie Show, we take the opportunity to highlight questions that are written in by those who are facing challenges. We provide our feedback. Our listeners provide their feedback as well. And we all do this because we're all on the same team, each one teach one. But the hope is that it will bless someone, that it will give them the insight needed, the encouragement needed, the empowerment needed to take the steps that cause us to live in our smile, to take the necessary steps that cause us to operate in the capacity that we have to influence outcomes in the earth. So we have several questions today. So a couple of weeks ago, I said that every week we get several questions. Sometimes we get dozens of questions. Sometimes we may just get one or two. It all depends. But throughout the month of September and October, we were highlighting our playbacks. And so during that time, we had got a plethora of questions in, and we want to take this time to address as many as we can right here on the Ask Schellie Show. So I need you to tune in. I need you to engage. I need you to share your perspective on some of the questions that are being asked today. We will be highlighting one where there's a man who says, I think I fell in love with a married woman. And he wants to hear the feedback, your feedback about whether or not you believe that this woman can possibly be married. He literally sent a list of the things that cause him to be suspicious. Now, can we definitively say that this woman is cheating or not, or she is married or not? Absolutely not. We can only provide feedback, and that is what this gentleman wants. And so make sure you get your pen and paper ready. Make sure that you are engaging in the comment section, letting me know who you are and where you are tuning in from. Again, we're going to be highlighting several questions today, my consultation team. I'm going to have you on overtime, so expect your direct deposit to be a little bit higher this week. Hi, Joseph. Thank you so much for tuning into the Ask Schellie Show. Manny Noel, thank you so much for tuning into the Ask Schellie Show. Alkia, hello, sis. Hey, sis. Me and my client is watching. Thank you for tuning into the Ask Schellie Show. So listen, I am going to be highlighting several questions today. So usually we have one question. It gives us an opportunity to go really, really deep. But today we're going to highlight several questions. So we're going to be limited on time, but it doesn't and should not stop you from entering into the comment section your feedback. For those of you who are just tuning in, you are tuning in to the Ask Schellie Show with Schellie Fanfan as your host and your emotional intelligence expert. I am the CEO and owner of Ask Schellie Consulting. It's a team of emotional intelligence experts that helps people like you overcome their relationship challenges. We are intimacy coaches. We are marriage counselors. We are licensed mental health therapists that provide psychoeducation that helps people to enter into and activate the greatest versions of themselves. Are you ready? Are you ready? We have several questions. I have my team here. Thank you so much, Joseph. I got these. I need to create direct deposits for you guys. Don't hold me to that. This is all just like, don't hold me to that. It's a joke. Maybe not. You never ever know. You don't know. If this lands on CBS, ABC, or BET, or Fox, or wherever it's going to land, hey, my consultation team, those faithful viewers, you guys are coming with me, okay? And you can hold me to that. All right, so here we go. So we have several questions today, and we're going to start with question number 1. And it simply says, Dear Ask Schellie, my wife is always provoking me to anger. How can I address this? Okay, my wife is always provoking me to anger. How can I address this? So go ahead and go into the comment section. Let me know what it is your feedback is for this gentleman that says, help me, because my wife is always provoking me to anger. All right. Hi, Dr. Gurley. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ask Schellie Show. Joseph says my account number is ready. LOL. That's what I love. It's not about get ready. Be ready. Be ready. You never know. Joseph, keep this show in prayer because God is doing amazing things and you are so faithful. Thank you so much for tuning in. Dr. Gurley, our psychiatrist extraordinaire, is tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Alkia, thank you, sis, for tuning in to the Ask Schellie Show. Hello, Manny Noel. It says 1 o'clock on the post. I'm not sure what post you're talking about, but if there's an error, I will make sure that I go back and fix it. We are live. We are live every week. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the Ask Schellie Show. So the first question, my wife, dear Ask Schellie, my wife is always provoking me to anger. And he wants to know what it is that he should do. And so my feedback to you, sir, is this. A lot of the times, the things that not a lot of the times, I say this on the show all of the time, and that is this. One of my very close friends is one of the best behavior analysts that you will ever meet. Her name is Robin Williams, and she's the CEO, owner, and founder of Simplified Behavior. And she teaches this, that what we attend to will continue. What we attend to will continue. So if you are attending to your wife, you are attending to her only when she is cutting up, then you are reinforcing that aggressive behavior. You are reinforcing the provoking behavior. So listen to what I'm saying here. When we think of attention-seeking behavior, we often think about good attention, like love and touch, and I'm spoiling you, right? We're talking about within the relationship context. But attention is anytime that your energy, your time is being deposited into that person's account. Those actions, that attention does not necessarily have to be positive attention. It's just you attending to that person. Whether you are attending to that person in a positive light, whether you are attending to that person in a negative light, it's all good because the need is met. If someone is engaging in attention-seeking behavior and you are giving attention to that behavior, then you become a part of the problem because you are reinforcing that behavior. So you may think that I don't give her attention because she makes me yell, she makes me scream, I have to call out for work, our kids get all rattled up or whatever it is. Understand this. You are still giving her attention. You are attending to that behavior. And so it's important for you to understand that, because what you attend to will continue. What you attend to will continue. What you ignore will surely die. But when it comes to this type of scenario, it's very important that we focus more on replacement behavior. Replacement behavior. How can we assure that this person can exhibit more positive functional behavior to get the very same thing? I'm encouraging you, sir, to really think about how much love and affection and positive attention you're giving your wife. I want you to think about that. I am inviting you to think about how much positive attention you are giving your wife. Those compliments, those hugs, that love, that eye contact, that skin contact, that verbal contact. Because if she can only get your attention, your energy, even when that energy may not necessarily be positive, if that's the only way that she is getting you to attend to her, you can surely expect that provoking behavior to continue. What you attend to will surely continue. And so for those of you who are listening, whether it's women or men, when you think about that for yourself, think about that for your spouse. If you're a woman, think about it with your husband. How are you speaking to your husband? What are you attending to? If you are always attending to when he didn't put the seat back down, you're only attending to when he didn't wash the dish after dinner, when you're only attending to all of the things that he is not doing for you, guess what? You will get more of the same. You will continue to get more of what he is not doing for you. You will continue to get more of those behaviors that are not pleasing to you. We have to make sure that we always remember that what we attend to will continue. So switch lanes with your attention, sir. Switch lanes with your attention, ma'am. Parent, you keep getting the same maladaptive behavior from your children. What are you attending to? Because if the only time you're giving them your time and attention is when they're coming back home because they've been suspended, they've been written up, or whatever the situation is, you can expect to get more of the same. What you attend to will continue. So attend to those things that you want to see multiply. Attend to those things that you want to see multiply. That's very important. So going back to the gentleman that says, my wife is always provoking me to anger. How can I get this to stop? How can I get this to change? I don't know much information. It was a very short question, but I'm inviting you to assess how much love and time and attention, how much quality time, right, that is not contingent upon anything else, are you offering your wife? Remember, here on the Ask Schellie Show, we define quality time as 3 forms of contact happening at once: eye contact, verbal contact, and skin contact. And so you are invited, sir, to take note, take an assessment, take self-inventory. How much love and attention, admiration, all that other good stuff am I offering my wife? And if you find that there is a deficiency, then you are invited to challenge yourself to give her more of that outside of those behaviors you don't want to see, right? We don't want to reinforce that aggressive behavior. We don't want to enforce that provoking behavior. So when it's not happening, give her your time, give her your love, give her your attention. And what you will see is the power of that behavior. That's the frequency of that behavior, the intensity, the duration of those episodes will start to decrease. Let's see what our consultation team says here. Manny Noel says, I think it goes back to communication and comprehension. Did he have a chance to let her know about her behavior and how he feels about it, which is so good. Sometimes we skip over that. We want to address things and we don't necessarily talk about them. And so communication is key. So good. Dr. Gurley says, be assertive by verbalizing your anger and not necessarily acting on it. That is a classic example of using your words. There are adults that I treat that do not have, or they're not operating in their capacity to use their words. So it's important to determine exactly how you're feeling and communicate that into words. I am frustrated. I am angry. I am provoked. I feel devalued. I feel victimized. Get those feeling words out. You can go to www.feelingwords.com. I love that wheel. It helps me and helps my clients to really determining how they feel. So communication is important. Again, Dr. Gurley says, be assertive by verbalizing your anger. Manny Noel says, I wondered if she is even aware about her negative behavior. And if she is, what is the cause of it? How is he contributing to it? Yes, sometimes that we become a part of the problem. The things that we do not like, the things that we reject, we often become a part of the problem because something about the way that we are responding is reinforcing and strengthening that behavior. So taking assessment of what we may be doing to contribute to the problem is key. Dr. Gurley says, don't communicate this anger until you push pause and process your anger. Walk away and wait for the proper way to communicate. Use a keyword to let her know she is crossing the line. Listen, that 20-minute delay is something. My listeners, let me tell you, that 20-minute delayed response will save your marriage. That 20-minute delayed response will save your job. That 20-minute delayed response will cause you to not say something to your children that will break their spirit. 20-minute delayed response, because in that 20-minute delayed response, those angry words that you want to use, that motivation is just going to lessen. That text message that you were about to press send on, you'll go back and erase it and rethink it. We cannot operate like animals who just react, right? We have the capacity to think. We have the capacity to engage in consequential thinking. Our emotions, and when we are feeling emotional, it happens in the back of our brain, right back here. We want to give it 20 minutes so this can calm down a little bit and that you can activate your frontal lobe where consequential thinking happens. And so 20-minute delays on your response are so key. Do not communicate in anger. It will not help. Manny Noel says, I don't have a spouse, but I have insecurities in my friendships. I learned that I'm insecure with one friend and I am secure with another. The one where I feel secure treats me in a manner where I don't have to question them based on their treatment of me. They listen and give feedback. The other one tends to blame and not listen when I need to be heard. And so in this situation, what you're saying is you feel more safe with the person that is more attentive. You're not feeling safe with the one that is more conflictual, where you have more of a conflictual relationship. And that is quite normal. So again, sir, let me say this. You are invited to assess how you are offering your spouse, your wife, attention and love and affection, so that you're not leaving her only one option, which is to provoke you to anger to get you to attend to her. I'm not saying that's the cause. There's so much that we do not know here, but I want you to just take that self-inventory and write back in. Give us more details, and I'll be happy to highlight your question on an upcoming Ask Schellie show. Thank you so much, consultation team. We're going to move on to the next question here. We are highlighting several questions that have been sent in over the past couple of months, just to catch up and make sure that our listeners know that we are listening. The next one is, Dear Ask Schellie, how do you know when therapy is needed? All right, consultation team. These are brief, short questions. I love this question. Again, it says, How do you know when therapy is needed? And so my team, go into the comment section. Let us know what it is you think. We want to provide perspective and feedback to our listeners. Why? Because here on the Ask Schellie Show, our goal is to assure that each and every person, Lord, each and every person that listens in, that tunes in, listens back in for the replays, click share, that each and every person that this live lands in, the line of sight or earshot that it lands in, benefits from it and can add tools to their wellness toolbox. So how do you know when therapy is needed is the next question. And so it's very, very hard for me to be objective with this question because I am a licensed psychotherapist here in the state of Florida, and I was created by God and sent to this earth to empower and to encourage. And I do that by bringing people to that place where psychological principles and kingdom protocols meet. So I understand the power of therapy. And because I believe in the power of therapy, I'm a bit biased. So my initial answer to that is anyone can benefit from therapy. My personal take on therapy is that anyone can benefit from therapy, even if it's just a monthly tune-up, just to process your emotions and assess your thought patterns and assess your emotional patterns, really look at your behavioral patterns and what it is that those behavioral patterns are drawing in and attracting, even if those monthly tune-ups are strengthening your coping skills and enhancing your emotional intelligence. It is very beneficial. So that is my general question. So let me try to be a little bit more objective. For someone who is going through challenges, your contemplation of therapy is a huge indicator that therapy may be the right choice for you. Just your contemplation. Because on the inside of us, most of the time, we do know what we need. We may be confused. We may not be in tune. There may be things about ourselves or the things that we are doing, the things about our environment, the things about the people who are around us. All types of distractions may disconnect us. But I truly believe that the answer is deep on the inside of us. And so when we start to contemplate things, it's pretty much because we know the answer. We know that we need to get well. We know that there's something just not right. We know. We just know. And so when we listen to that still voice on the inside of us, that is an indicator that therapy may be the right choice for you. I truly believe that we all have a desire deep on the inside of us to be well. And I think that desire comes from the fact that we have a kingdom right, a blood-born right to be well. And so again, if you are thinking about it, if you are contemplating therapy, that's a huge indicator that it may be the right choice for you. If you are experiencing unfavorable emotions at an increased frequency, right? So you're feeling and experiencing unfavorable emotions. And listen, I said unfavorable. I didn't say negative. Because sometimes emotions that are kind of unfavorable for us is exactly what we need to move from one space to another in our life. It may be an emotion that we don't necessarily like, that we don't necessarily invite, but it may be what's required to get you to your next level. So if you are experiencing unfavorable emotions at an increased frequency, it's happening more at an increased duration. You are experiencing these emotions in longer episodes. If you are experiencing these unfavorable emotions at an increased intensity. So it used to be at a 3 or 4 on the scale of 1 to 10, and now it's kind of like at about a 6 or 7. That may be a sign that therapy should be considered for you. If you find that your challenges or your emotions are impacting your mood, impacting your sleep, impacting your appetite, impacting your perspective, it is time for you to consider therapy. If your emotions, your thoughts, your challenges are impacting your capacity to be at peak performance at work or at school, or just in community living, in your home, if it's negatively impacting the roles that you are in as mother, as wife, as father, as leader, if you're finding that there's a negative impact happening, it is time to make that consideration for therapy. I would also recommend that you ask your trusted friends, those honest friends that are going to tell you like it is, whether you like it or not. Pick three of your top super honest, I'm going to tell you like it is friends, and ask them this question: do you think I am well? Do you think I am well? And listen to what it is they say. And remember that what they have to say may not necessarily be in line with what you believe, and that is okay. We do have a survey that we send out to our clients or to individuals who are trying to contemplate whether therapy is right for them. You can go on to www.askschellie.com and you can go in and send us a message letting us know that you want this survey, and we will send you the link to it. And this survey just helps individuals to make the determination of whether or not they should seek therapy as an option for their therapeutic tool, whatever therapeutic tool that they're choosing for themselves. So I hope that was helpful to you. I will be let me I see lots of messages coming in from YouTube, and also let's see. Hello, my consultation team here on Facebook. I'm trying to flip from Facebook to YouTube. All right, let's see. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. We have some good responses here. All right. That's good. Joseph says, when you ask that question, when you ask that question, should I go to therapy? Should I consider therapy? I'm telling you, I agree with you, Joseph, 100%, that usually is a huge indicator that therapy is for you. Dr. Gurley says therapy is always needed. There's never an imperfect time to become self-aware. I love it. Manny Noel says, I knew that I needed therapy when I felt like I was choking to the point I couldn't function like a normal human being. I was drowning with intense emotions that I had difficulty processing. I was praying, and in the midst of my prayer, I was guided to my current therapist, and that was a move by God Himself. Thank you so much for your feedback. Joseph says, I believe everyone needs a form of therapy. Therapy, in my opinion, is a type of relieving, for a lack of a better term. Venting is a form of therapy. Vacations are a form of therapy. Therapy is a must in the life that we are living. And that is so good. There are different forms of therapeutic activities that you can engage in. Many different forms of therapeutic activities. When I say therapy here, I want you guys to understand that I am talking about a process by which a person consents to engaging in this journey with a licensed clinician who has the experience to guide you, that has the anointing to guide you and partner with you to your next level. This is a process that includes evidence-based, scientifically based interventions that will cause you to think different, behave different, address emotional injury, reset how how your brain processes certain memories. It gives you practical tools on how to take dominion over your emotions, reframe your thoughts, reframe your internal dialogue, doing things different. I can go on and on and on. And I believe that through that therapeutic process that we all can benefit. And so again, if you're asking yourself that question, you are encouraged to go for it. www.psychologytoday.com. Again, that's www.psychologytoday.com is a good place to start. It'll give you an opportunity to put your zip code in, put some descriptor words in of what your experiences are, and providers who are vetted in your community will pop up and you're able to vet them there and find the best fit for you. Thank you so much for writing in to the Ask Schellie Show. The next question: what therapeutic tool can help me move past a 30-year intimate relationship with a man that I know doesn't have my best interest at heart? I don't know if I can answer these questions, I don't know if I can ask these questions in a brief way. It's so difficult for me, but I'm going to try my best. And so again, it says, Dear Ask Schellie, what therapeutic tool can help me move past a 30-year intimate relationship with a man that I know does not have my best interest at heart? That's the next question. First and foremost, I need you, Queen, to understand that healing begins when separation starts. Healing begins when separation starts. I get so many women and men, more so women, but men as well, that come in and they want to start the healing process when they are still in relationships with individuals who they know do not serve them, do not elevate them, do not meet their basic emotional needs, not to mention any higher order needs. And they are clear that this relationship is breaking me down. This relationship is causing me anxiety. I cannot sleep. I'm often upset. I'm often worried. And they're coming in for healing, but they're still with the person. And I have to say that healing begins when the separation starts. And so what happens is I go ahead and I provide therapy. And I provide therapy and I provide empowerment and I provide psychoeducation that builds up and strengthens coping skills. Individuals are able to question themselves more. They're able to reach a place where they have clearer vision. They get to a place they have greater hope for themselves. They're able to see obstacles very, very clearly. And they are able to see the light at the end of the tunnel very clearly. So they get to a point where they're empowered enough to walk away. And when they walk away and they come back to celebrate in therapy, I say, now therapy begins. Because that healing process begins when the separation starts. And the reason why I'm saying that is because in your questions, you said, what therapeutic tool can help me move past a 30-year intimate relationship with a man that I know doesn't have my best interests at heart? And so it seemed like at the end of your question, you were kind of speaking in present terms. And if that's the case, you are invited to assess your value. You are invited to assess your value. And once you make that assessment and know that this treatment, the feelings that you are feeling, those unmet expectations, when you get to a point where you can clearly see that your value does not align with the outcome, when you get to that place where you see that your value does not align with that outcome, I hope and pray that it empowers you to move forward with separation. Now, let me say this because I'm not going to hell for anybody. I'm not going to hell for anyone. My advice and my feedback changes when we're talking about marriage, because we cannot neglect the fact that in a marriage, it's not two parties, but three, God at the center. This doesn't necessarily indicate that this is a marriage. It says 30-year intimate relationship. Can a relationship be a marriage? Yes. But I am kind of getting a feeling here that this is not 30 years. Boy, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a woman who's married? It's really, really hard, because I want to make sure that you guys understand that when we're talking about marriages, it does change things, because we really have to look at the circumstances. I am an ordained minister, and so I do believe that everything that we do when we are addressing marriages and strengthening them, that God gives us the blueprint in his word. And so it kind of changes my feedback then. So if I'm giving, again, very general feedback, I am assuming that this is not a marriage. And if it is not a marriage, then my feedback is really take a look at your value. Not to say that you can't do that when you're married, but specifically specifically as it relates to starting the process of moving away and getting past this relationship, like you asked, really take a look. Does this align with my value? And if you think that it does align with your value, if you believe that someone who does not have your best interest at heart aligns with your value, then you need help for yourself. There is no way that you will be able to show up healthy in any relationship if you're not able to clearly see your value. So once the separation happens, and you can do that again through a therapeutic process, a therapeutic journey where you're learning the skills, you're learning to reframe, you're empowering yourself, you're healing. Therapy is a great tool. Your question was, what therapeutic tool can help me move past a 30-year intimate relationship? Therapy is an amazing tool. Now, I will say that I don't know much. You said that he doesn't have his best interests at heart. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if there is verbal abuse involved in this, physical abuse. I don't know the degree to the maltreatment, if any. And so that all plays a part, because if you have experienced relationship trauma, then my consideration or my recommendation for you would be to find a therapist that specializes in relationship trauma, so that you can get the help that you need from someone who specializes in the very area that you need the healing in. And so please write us back. Give us some more information. I'll be happy to highlight your question on a full segment of the Ask Schellie Show to provide more feedback. You can also write in for a consultation, and we will be able to give more concrete feedback to you. However, feel free to send us more details about what your challenges are, so I can provide you more specific feedback. But again, healing begins when the separation begins. You may need some help. You may need some empowerment. You may need that clinical and therapeutic support to get there. And guess what? It is your right to get it. You have the right to be happy. You have the right to be in a relationship that aligns with your value and your values as a whole. And so give that gift to yourself, because you deserve it. A lot of the times, the things that we want are things that we deserve. And the way that we can change our minds about it is write a list of everything that you want. Everything that you want. It may take a week to finish that list, but when you finally can't think of anything new to write on that list, go back. And everywhere you wrote want, take a line through it and write deserve. Cross out want and write deserve. It changes our perspective, and hopefully it aligns you in a place. It helps you to get aligned with the fact that you do have the capacity to influence outcomes in the earth, to attract favorable and deserved outcomes in the earth. You deserve it, Queen, so go for it. All right, let me go back to my consultation team. Again, I'm going between YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ask Schellie Show. Dr. Gurley says, when it comes to this woman who says, what therapeutic tool can I use to get past a 30-year intimate relationship where I was not, I think she mentioned something about where he did not have my best at heart, or he didn't have the best intentions. Let me go back. I don't want to say it in the wrong way. Let me go back to that question. She says that what therapeutic tool can help me move past a 30-year intimate relationship with a man that I know doesn't have my best interest at heart? And if he doesn't have your best interest at heart, I do question his commitment to making you happy. And there has to be a mutual commitment in relationships to make one another happy. Does she even want to leave? That is so good. We don't know if she really wants to leave. And that is a really big piece here, because why? Healing starts where? Healing starts where? Where the separation begins. And so she may not want to leave right now. And that desire to not want to leave, right? That desire in itself can be a manifestation of injury. I love it when people come in and say, well, I don't want to leave right now, or I don't want to apply for that job right now, or I don't. That very don't, the source of that don't can be injury. The source of that I don't can be emotional injury. So we have to get to a place often in our lives where we realize that the things that we are motivated to or not to do, the things that we are attracted to or not attracted to, can be a manifestation of emotional injury. I don't care if you don't want to, you may need to. So getting to a place where we realize that I may not want to, but I absolutely need to. And because I need to, whether I want to or not, I will do it. That is emotionally intelligent. Alkia says, me and my clients are loving this great wisdom and not able to give as much feedback because I'm doing here. That's okay. That's okay, sis. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ask Schellie Show. We're going to move to our next question here. Our next question, we have two more before we close. Dear Ask Schellie, I feel like I am constantly begging my wife for sex. Oh boy, this looks like another one that I may not be able to give up. I don't know if I want to do this again. It's so hard for me to give brief feedback, but I'm going to go ahead. Let me just read. Dear Ask Schellie, I feel like I am constantly begging my wife for sex. I am aware of her past hurts and experiences, and at one point I was very understanding and patient. I fell in love with her spirit, so her sexuality or lack thereof was not a major issue for me. We are now 6 years in, and I am tired of it. She is making no effort to address this matter and continues to encourage me to focus on her emotional needs, and what I want will come with time. How much more time? This is exhausting. I got to read that again. Okay, come on, consultation team. Let me know what you think. Those of you who are tuning in, do not forget to go into the comment section. Let me know who you are, where you are tuning in from. Listen to this question and provide your feedback in the comment section. If you want to join me on stage, you could go in the comment section and say, I want to join you on stage. I'll bring you live right here with me. Listen to this question. Dear Ask Schellie, I feel like I am constantly begging my wife for sex. I've never, ever heard that before. I'm kidding. I am aware of her past hurts and experiences, and at one point, I was very understanding and patient. I fell in love with her spirit, so her sexuality or lack thereof was not a major issue for me. How many times does that happen? When those things that cause us to want to leave our marriages or run out the front door didn't really matter at the beginning. Food for thought. We are now 6 years in, and I am tired of it. She is making no effort to address this matter and continues to encourage me to focus on her emotional needs, and what I want will come with time. How much more time? He writes. This is exhausting. So, oh boy, I have a lot to say, so I have to be brief. And sir, if you need more support, more feedback, please write back in to info@askschellie.com. Connect with me again on www.askschellie.com. As a matter of fact, I think I may highlight this in depth sometime within the next upcoming months, because this is so common. So you said that she makes little to no effort. Let me make sure I'm quoting that right. Oh, you actually says that she makes no effort. She is making no effort to address this matter. So you talked about her having some issues in her past that has affected her sexuality. And so I hear this very often, where women are in marriages, in sexless marriages, and for many reasons, with the primary reason being some type of previous trauma that causes them to find sex aversive, or they just don't have a drive. Their drive doesn't match their husband's drive. They just don't have that desire. I can go on and on. Because you are referencing some previous experience or experiences that has negatively impacted her capacity to be intimate, My question is, what type of help has she gotten? And in addition to that, how intentional is she being about getting that help? I say this so much here on this platform, ladies and gentlemen. We have certain needs that only God can meet, only our Abba Father, our Elohim can meet. We also have needs that only we can meet. There are needs that Schellie has that only Schellie can meet. There are needs that Akila has that only Akila can meet. There are needs that Joseph has that only Joseph can meet. There are needs that Manny Noel has that only Manny Noel can meet. And so when we start outsourcing the responsibility to meet needs that only we can meet, we start this never-ending quest to find happiness and purpose and joy and peace. And it's a never-ending process that we never arrive at that destination, because you cannot outsource the responsibility to meet needs that were created to be met only by you. And so in this particular case, while it may not have been her fault, the rape, the molestation, whatever those experiences are from her past, while it was not her fault, it is her responsibility to get whole. It is her responsibility to get help so that she can show up healthy in this marriage, to show up healthy in her parental roles, to show up healthy at work, to show up healthy as an ambassador for Christ, to show up healthy. And so your frustration with her not doing what is needed for her to get that help, I affirm that frustration. She does, however, have a point about meeting her emotional needs. And again, this is so hard because I have so many questions. But a lot of the times when we're wanting great sex and we want sex to improve in one of three or all three areas, right? Most of the time people are coming in because there's infection in one of these next three areas or all three. That's frequency. I want it more. We're not having it enough, right? We're not having sexual relations. We're not being intimate enough. Right. So it can be frequency. That's one of the domains of issues that people, one of the domains in the problem that people bring forth when they're saying sex is horrible and we need help. It usually falls with frequency. Duration, meaning it's not long enough for me. It's too short. I need more. He's finished before I could even blink an eye, or vice versa. Right. Or intensity, frequency, duration, intensity. Those are usually those areas that we try to assess specifically where the infection, where the dissatisfaction is, where the unmet expectations are. But again, let me say this. Most of the time when couples are coming in because they want to heighten their sexual gratification, we're looking at issues in their intimacy, their attachment, the degree to which they are bonded to one another. So when she says, just continue to attend to what I need from you emotionally, and eventually it will happen, there is some truth to that. Where we focus on the core principles of intimacy, conversations of care, quality time, honesty, safety, right? Faithfulness. I can go on and on. It opens a great space and opportunity for your sexual gratification to elevate to levels not seen in this particular marriage, right? But this is the issue, though. If she is not healed, it doesn't matter all of the things that you may be doing to attend to what she's communicating as her emotional needs. It may be like putting money in a bucket with holes in it, because she has what class? Unresolved emotional injury. So then it goes back to the responsibility that she has to get well. And it's not fair to not attend to the needs of our spouse that we may not necessarily deem as important. Let me say that again. And this is a two-way street. when it doesn't really matter to you, or you don't necessarily see the importance of it, so you don't necessarily tap in or prioritize it, that is going to send you on an express route to divorce. Because it is very important that we get to a space in these kingdom marriages where we are prioritizing needs of our spouse, whether it's something you find important to you or not. And I have seen it so much, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm being, biased here, but I see it so much where a lot of women start to use this whole, like, my emotional needs are not being met as an excuse to not work harder toward a goal that means very little to them. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Like, what are you doing? I don't have, I'm just not in the mood. He always wants to do it all. So what are you doing about it? Are you speaking to your gynecologist? Are you going to therapy? Are you addressing your self-acceptance issues? Are you really addressing your trauma with aggression and consistency? What are you doing? So to continue to highlight your emotional injury and all the things that you went through as excuses for why you're not engaging in higher levels of, or not engaging in a mindset where you're prioritizing those needs and being responsive to those needs. It's just not fair. So for you to come in my sessions and say, well, I know what it is he needs. I know what he likes. I get that. I'm aware. What did we say a couple of weeks ago? Awareness without responsiveness is just unacceptable. So what are you doing to be responsive to what you are aware of? Sir, I don't know too much more. My recommendation is intimacy coaching, marriage counseling, right? Marriage counseling, intimacy coaching, where you can get with a professional who can help you guys in walking through the obstacles. You want to have a fruitful, healthy, sexual, and intimate marriage, right? You don't want to be in a sexless marriage, and you're in a sexless marriage, right? So you're in a sexless marriage. You want to have more intimate connections with your wife. The space in between those 2 points is what therapy will address. That space, right? We want to fill the room between where you at and where you want to be. And so I recommend marriage counseling, and so that you can address the intimacy issues in your marriage. And my hope is that in that process, your wife would be empowered to get the help that she needs to overcome her emotional injury. All right. We have one more question. This is the highlight question. The next question, this gentleman has written in. He fell in love with a woman and he thinks that she may be married. And he is giving us very specific reasons why he thinks that she's married. I know that we are about to be over time, but I need you guys to let me know what you think. We can't say she's definitively married. We cannot say she's definitively not married, but you can share your perspective. And that perspective is going to help him in what he needs to do next. So I'm going to read. He gives us 6 scenarios for why he thinks this woman is married. And I need you to share your thoughts on what you think. Okay, I want you to share your thoughts on what you think. Hello, my sister. She says, so I had to stop on this one during marriage counseling that should have been brought up. So I had to stop on this one during marriage counseling that should have been brought up. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love the feedback of my listeners. It is priceless. Our listeners, those who write in, they always come back and they go into the comment section to find out what it is you are saying. So I think what we just read, the question we just read was the man who's in a sexless marriage. His wife has emotional injury from past experiences. He has had it. He has had it with being in a sexless marriage. You can catch it on replay for those of you who are just tuning in. This is the feedback here. Manny Noel says, I'm stuck at the part where he says she makes no effort. I think the way he treats her have caused her to be comfortable in not doing her part in the relationship. Okay, Dr. Manny Noel and Jackie. Hello, Jackie. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Ask Schellie Show. Queens Village in the building. And Jackie says, hey, Schellie, to your writer, if you feel like you have to beg for sex and there is something she is not getting from you or something she has not resolved in herself. Very good. Pretty much in line with what we've been saying. You mentioned you were patient with her. Was that because she told you the cause of her hesitation and you were working through that with her? Or that you were hoping to be the nice guy that would eventually be rewarded for not pushing her? Her efforts need to be for her before it's for you. I totally get being frustrated, however, and I don't know if she's still typing, but that's so good. And it goes back to what we said. It's going to have to start with her. Before she is able to show up healthy in this marriage, she's going to have to do the work to really address that emotional injury. And guess what? While it may benefit her husband, the primary beneficiary is her. Guys, we got to move on to the next one. This is our last one. This gentleman wants to know what you think. Is this woman that I'm in love with married or not? What do you think? Right? We're providing perspective here. We are providing perspective. Listen to what he says are the reasons why he's suspicious. And I need you, because I don't know what to say on this. I'm like, I don't know what to say. But I just need you to listen to this and then share your thoughts in the comment section. This is the last one. Drum roll, please. Our highlight question. I think I fell in love with the married woman, and here it goes. Dear Ask Schellie, I am a single Caucasian man, and I have been single for many years and finally made the decision to be intentional about finding a woman to become serious with. For a very long time, I did not think I had the capacity to fall in love, but to my surprise, I am in love. I met her via online dating. Shout out to eHarmony. Come on, eHarmony, you got to pay me for that sponsorship. Let me go back. I met her via online dating. Shout out to eHarmony, and we have been very connected since. She is a Hispanic female who lives about 2 hours away from me. We instantly connected, and I believe she feels the same for me. Well, that is what she says anyways. We have been doing the long distance thing for close to 10 months now, and I am not feeling too good about something. Most of the time, I am super happy and fulfilled, but I cannot ignore some observations. I feel like this list can go on for miles, but I am afraid it will cause me to appear like a lunatic. So I will keep it short. And he writes, guys, listen to this. I need you to tell me what you think. Number one, she turns her phone off religiously around 8 to 9-ish. It is very rare I can connect with her in the evenings. Most of our conversations are throughout the day, multiple times a day. The second, she is adamant about visiting me at my home. Guys, I can't see. Give me a second. Because I'm seeing like 5 words for every word. All right, so let me go back. All right, so number one, this makes a difference. So she turns her phone off religiously around 8 to 9-ish. It is very rare I can connect with her in the evenings. Most of our conversations are throughout the day, multiple times a day. Number two, she is adamant about visiting me at my home. I have never been to her house. This is 10 months, guys. What do you think? I have never been to her house. She says that she does not want her children to see her as anything other than a mother. She claims she is divorced and does not want to introduce her children to any man until she is sure. This does not fall in line with her telling me that I am the one. Number three, she is not on social media. I don't know if I believe that. Number four, she is not comfortable with social media posts, so I cannot flaunt my beautiful Puerto Rican queen. 5, I have not met her family. She has met all of my friends and family. She maintains everyone is still healing from the divorce, and she wants to make sure timing is right. Apparently, her and her husband's family were very enmeshed. And number 6, I wanted to purchase a spa package for her and asked for the spa closest to her home, and she seemed so hesitant to simply text me her zip code. This was the last incident, and I have been very distant since. Am I totally overanalyzing here? I think I fell in love with a married woman. Let me go back. Where's my consultation team, please? Where's my consultation team, please? He gives us 6 scenarios, 6 things that cause him to be, a little suspicious about this woman he's been dating online for about 10 months. They visit with one another. She's 2 hours away. She comes to visit him, and he's saying, am I overanalyzing here? Because I think the woman that I fell in love with is married. I'm going to go back through the question and his examples, and I need you to let me know what you think. Here we go. I'm going back. Dear Ask Schellie, I am a single Caucasian man, and I have been single for many years and finally made the decision to be intentional about finding a woman to become serious with. For a very long time, I did not think I had the capacity to fall in love, but to my surprise, I am in love. I met her via online dating, shout out to eHarmony, and we have been very connected since. She is a Hispanic female who lives about 2 hours away from me. We instantly connected, and I believe she feels the same for me. I wonder how he knows she's 2 hours away if he doesn't know where she lives. Anyway, well, that is what she says anyways. We have been doing the long distance thing for close to 10 months now, and I am not feeling too good about something. Most of the time, I am super happy and fulfilled, but I cannot ignore some observations. I feel like this list can go on for miles, but I'm afraid it will cause me to appear like a lunatic. I want to know what that miles list is, but he says, so I will keep it short. The 6 things he says, tell me what you guys think. She turns her phone off religiously around 8 to 9-ish. It is very rare I can connect with her in the evenings. Most of our conversations are throughout the day, multiple times a day. That one I think is the biggest one for me. Number 2, she is adamant about visiting me at my home. I have never been to her house. This is 10 months. She says that she does not want her children to see her as anything other than a mother. She claims she is divorced and does not want to introduce her children to any man until she is sure. This does not fall in line with her telling me that I am the one. Number 3, she is not on social media. I don't know if I believe that. I wonder why he doesn't believe that. Number 4, she is not comfortable with social media posts, so I cannot flaunt my beautiful Puerto Rican queen. Number 5, I have not met her family. She has met all of my friends and family. She maintains everyone is still healing from the divorce, and she wants to make sure timing is right. I wonder how long that divorce was. When did that take place? It doesn't say in the question. Apparently, he writes, her and her husband's family were very enmeshed. And number 6, I wanted to purchase a spa package for her and asked for the spa closest to her home, and she seemed so hesitant to simply text me her zip code. This was the last incident, and I have been very distant since. Am I totally overanalyzing here? I think I fell in love with a married woman. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Where's my consultation team? What do you think? 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 Is this woman married? I know we can't say definitively, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. All right, here we go. All right. Hervé Gilbert, my favorite Haitian businessman of all times. You are one of the smartest people that I know. Thank you so much for tuning in. And he says, are we not in the presence of a platonic love in this case? Maybe the woman doesn't really like the guy. That's good. That may very well be the case. Manny Noel says, Steve Harvey advised us women to hire a private investigator when we're uncertain about a man who we think is serious. If he doesn't want to take that route, I would say to trust his instincts because her behavior is suspicious. Wow. Did Steve Harvey say that? We're getting into booking private investigators now? All right. Well, here we go. First and foremost, have you shared your concerns with her? And this makes it so hard when the question is not necessarily inclusive of all the details that we need to provide some really, really good feedback. And if you haven't, then I recommend that you share those concerns with her. I find that a lot of the times when men don't share their concerns, they don't want to present themselves as being weak or insecure, or I don't know, as having too much estrogen, who knows. But guess what? It's important for you to share your concerns with her because this is a woman that you have invested 10 months of your life to. You are declaring that you are in love with her, and you guys are clearly having conversations that are serious in nature. If she is saying you're the one, if she's reporting that to you or she's verbalizing that to you. And so you are recommended to share your concerns with her. I find the things that you have listed as concerning to be concerning. I do. I wish I can say, hey, maybe you're overanalyzing here. Tell me about your emotional injury. Tell me about your last 3 relationships. And let's talk about what baggage you may be bringing into this. But I'm not getting that sense here. I find the things that you have listed to be concerning. I do not believe that you are overanalyzing. I believe that you need to communicate these concerns with her and really, really give her an opportunity to respond to what you have to say. It's going to be very important that when you talk about your feelings about things, that you use your I statements. You cannot put that responsibility on her about how you feel. So, when this happens, this is how I feel, or I feel like this when this happens. And it's important that in that communication that you are clearly sharing your unmet expectations. So this is what I encourage you to do. So we talked about the importance of engaging in some really, really good and effective communication. Consider listing 3 of your strongest unmet expectations and ask her if she is committed to making the necessary changes to meet those unmet expectations, right? So let me say that again. I'm inviting you to make a list of all of your unmet expectations and share with her your top 3. And in sharing with her the top 3 unmet expectations, be as clear as possible. For example, I expect, one of my unmet expectations is respect. Well, if you are communicating an expectation to someone that you love, you have to be very clear about what respect looks like to you and from your perspective. And so again, you are invited to write a list of all of your unmet expectations, highlight the top 3 unmet expectations, and ask her if she is committed to making the necessary changes to meet them. Either 2 things can happen: that she says yes. That's one of the 2. And if she says yes, then you guys hug, you take your cell phones out and you say, okay, well, here we are, November 9th. I'd love for us to take a look at how we're doing here. Right? How are we working toward this solution? How are we working toward changing these unmet expectations into met expectations? Let's meet December 9th and really have a courageous conversation about this topic in particular. I would also invite her to balance out the conversation, to share any unmet expectations she may have of you, and you guys can add that to your agenda. If she says no, then you have some very difficult decisions to make. Now, we often allow ourselves to stay in a state of discomfort in all the wrong times and spaces. right? When you are inviting discomfort when it comes to your career, your financial breakthrough, doing things different, your spiritual breakthrough, that is when discomfort is necessary. Our breakthrough is on the other side of something that we are uncomfortable with. And so those are great places to allow ourselves to be uncomfortable. But when we are allowing ourselves to stay in that space, in relationships that do not serve us, or in places and spaces where we are not celebrated, like our jobs or things of that nature, we don't have to remain uncomfortable in these spaces and places where we are not celebrated. So I say all that to say it's been 10 months and you have some discomfort. And remember, I said discomfort is great in other areas. In this particular one, I don't think it's fair to yourself to stay in this state of discomfort where you have these unmet expectations and these concerns and these observations. So communicate them. Let's take those concerns and those observations and those things that you are suspicious about. Let's take it into action mode. And action mode comes when you share those concerns with her, when you engage in very healthy conversation, you make your expectations clear and hold her accountable within 4 weeks. Within 4 weeks, sit down and talk about the progress that's been made toward changing those unmet expectations into met expectations. That is my feedback to you. I don't know where she is in her thoughts about, where she wants to take this relationship with you, but clearly, you are in a situation where you are not happy. And guess what? You have the capacity to attract favorable outcomes to your life. You just have to be super intentional about doing what you need to do to attract it. And sometimes that requires making decisions that we don't necessarily want to do, but need to do. Manny Noel says another thing. She said she's the one, but there's no trust. She said he's the one, but there's no trust. Why would she be hesitant to provide her zip code? Listen, I'm with you, Manny Noel. It's just weird. It's been 10 months. And, again, writer, I don't think that the things that you're suspicious about are overanalyzing. I don't believe that's overanalyzing. You have some bona fide, concerns. And I want to affirm that. But I also want to empower you to walk in your power, to do what you have to do, to create a space for yourself where you are comfortable. And you can do that, right? So hold her accountable. Have this conversation, hold her accountable, and align yourself. Make the decisions, take those courageous steps that attract outcomes to our life that we deserve. So that was our marathon. We're ending our marathon of questions here. I wanted to take this time to catch up on so many questions that have been written in. We still have a backlog. We're getting to them. We're going to continue to highlight our questions every week right here on the Ask Schellie Show. You, my listeners, make it so easy for me when you tune in and you share your feedback, your perspective. Your perspective is valuable. We are here. Why? Why? To assure that we can provide our listeners tools to add to their wellness toolbox. Be sure to visit with me at www.askschellie.com. You can book me there. You can send messages to me there. You can submit your challenging questions there. Earlier in the show, someone asked, how do I know when I need therapy? If anybody within the sound of my voice feels like I just don't know and I want to take the steps, you can send us a message. You could connect with us again through www.askschellie.com. I have a survey that I use for individuals who really are trying to make that determination. And so if that's you, www.askschellie.com, connect with us. We'll be sure to send you that survey so you can make that determination yourself with some help when you get the survey results. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ask Schellie. Click on those notifications so when I go live, you are able to connect and view our weekly shows. You can also have access to the shows that we have recorded over the past almost 2 years. You can also submit your difficult questions to info@askschellie.com, and we will be sure to highlight them here on the Ask Schellie Show. For those of you who need individual or group support, you can connect with us again, www.askschellie.com. You can also email info@askschellie.com directly so that you can get your consultation for more individualized intervention. Again, those of you who tuned in today, you tuned into the Ask Schellie Show, where we are committed to adding tools to your wellness toolbox. We all have the right to be emotionally intelligent so we can take dominion in the earth by taking dominion in our emotions. The things that you want are the things that you deserve, and you have the capacity to attract it. Be committed to being intentional about being the greatest versions of yourselves. Until next time, God bless you and be great in all that you do. Blessings.